All right, let's talk about a really critical piece of workplace safety: OSHA's rule for fire extinguisher training. And trust me, this isn't just about checking a box on a safety form. This is about knowing what to do when things go wrong, and every single second counts. So, let's dive in. When an emergency actually happens, these are really your only two modes. There's that huge rush of adrenaline, and it can either send you into a complete panic, which is dangerous, or it can fuel a calm, practiced response. The difference between those two? It's literally everything. Okay, I want you to actually picture this right now. You smell smoke, and then you see small flames coming from a trash can or a piece of equipment. What is your very first move? Do you just bolt? Do you look for an extinguisher? Do you even have any idea where the nearest one is? That first instinct is absolutely crucial. And look, making the wrong choice can be, well, disastrous. For example, grabbing a water extinguisher for an electrical fire, that's a textbook way to get electrocuted and make the whole situation way, way worse. The right choice is never a lucky guess. It comes from having clear, solid training. So let's get into the actual rules of the game here. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, you know them as OSHA, has a very clear standard on this. And here's the bottom line. If your employer puts fire extinguishers in the workplace for you to use, they are legally required to train you how to use them safely. It's not optional. To get specific, the regulation says your employer has to teach you about the general dangers of fire, give you hands-on training with the actual extinguishers you have at your workplace, and they need to do this when you first start your job, and then again at least once a year. Now here we go. This is probably the most fundamental thing you need to know. You absolutely cannot fight a fire if you don't know what kind of fire it is. See, using the wrong type of extinguisher isn't just useless, it can be incredibly dangerous. These symbols right here, this is basically the universal language of fire safety. You've probably seen them a million times, but really knowing what each one means, well, that's non-negotiable. This is your first clue for picking the right tool for the job. Let's just break it down real simple. Class A is for your everyday stuff: wood, paper, things like that. Class B, that's for flammable liquids. Think grease, gasoline. Class C is the big one for workplaces: energize electrical stuff. And Class K is a special one for commercial kitchens with cooking oils. The main takeaway? You have to match the letter on the extinguisher to the letter of the fire. So where do you find this info? It's not a secret. It's printed right there on the label of the extinguisher. It'll show you exactly which classes of fire it's good for. The good news is that most workplaces have versatile ABC extinguishers, which, thankfully, cover the 3 most common fire types you're likely to run into. Okay, so you know the fire type, you've spotted the right extinguisher. Now comes the single most important decision you are going to make. Should you actually try to fight this fire, or is it time to just get out? According to OSHA, the only kind of fire an employee should ever think about fighting is what they call an incipient stage fire. What does that mean? It means it's small, it's contained in one spot, and it's not spreading like crazy. If that fire is bigger than a small trash can, your one and only job is to evacuate. This checklist right here makes that decision totally black and white. Before you even think about it, the fire alarm has to have been pulled, and you must have a clear escape route behind you. If that fire is spreading fast, if thick smoke is making it hard to see, or if you have any doubt whatsoever, you don't fight it. You leave. Period. Okay, you've made the decision. The fire is small, your exit is clear, and you've been trained. It is time to act. And to do that, you need to remember one simple 4-letter word: pass. But first, real quick, a little bit of science. Why does this even work? Well, a fire needs 3 things to survive: heat, fuel, and oxygen. We call that the fire triangle. A fire extinguisher works by simply knocking out one of those 3 legs, usually the oxygen or the heat. You break the triangle, you kill the fire. And here's how you do it. PASS. It's an acronym that makes it so easy to remember. First, you pull the pin that's at the top. Next, you aim the nozzle at the very base of the fire, not at the top of the flames. You got to attack the fuel. Third, you squeeze the handle slowly and evenly. And last, you sweep the nozzle back and forth across the base of the fire until it is completely out. All right, pop quiz. Let's lock this in because it's the most important part of actually using one of these. What do those 4 letters, PASS, stand for? Yep, you got it. Pull the pin, aim at the base, squeeze the handle, and sweep from side to side. You need to burn that into your brain. Okay, let's do one more. A real-world scenario. You see sparks, then actual flames coming out of your computer monitor at your desk. It is still plugged into the wall. What class of fire are you looking at? That is a Class C fire. Why? Because it involves energized electrical equipment. And that is exactly why you can't just dump a bottle of water on it. You need an extinguisher that is specifically rated for Class C fires to handle it safely. So as we start to wrap this up, I want to be really clear about something. Workplace safety isn't just your boss's problem. It's a partnership. And you play a huge, active role in keeping yourself and everyone around you safe. So what does that mean for you? It means taking a moment to know where your nearest extinguisher and your closest exit are. It means never trying to be a hero and use an extinguisher if you haven't been trained. And it means keeping your eyes open. If you see an extinguisher that's blocked by a bunch of boxes or one that looks like it's been used or damaged, you have to report it right away. I mean, just look at this thing. It's so much more than just a red can hanging on the wall. It's a serious piece of equipment. It has a pressure gauge, a safety pin, a valve. You need to treat it with respect. It's not a decoration, it's a tool. And just like any tool, it requires knowledge to use it the right way. I want to leave you with this quote because I think it is so powerful and so true. In an emergency, you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your training. Nobody magically becomes a hero in a fire. You just do what you've practiced. When the panic hits, your training and your muscle memory are what take over. And that is why all of this matters. So, you've got the basics now, the foundational knowledge that OSHA requires. But remember, knowledge is only step one. The real question I want to leave you with is this. Are you going to seek out the hands-on, specific training at your workplace so that if that moment ever comes, you are truly prepared to make the right choice?